June 23, 2005, Mobile, Alabama. Two burglars steal a car and make a high-speed getaway through suburban streets. Officer John Angle takes the burglars head-on and finds himself in a hail of bullets.
I had pulled over to a park to complete some paperwork that I had from a couple calls before.
Possible 54 in progress.
There was a burglary in progress to a residence on Stockton Drive off of Dolphin Island Parkway.
2059 Stockton Drive between Horton Drive and Bucketsville Road West.
The caller gave information that the suspects were possibly armed
Possibly armed with guns.
and they were possibly occupying a blue Buick Roadmaster.
Possibly a stolen vehicle.
I stood by there at Highway 90 and I-65 waiting to see if they got off on Highway 90 or if they continue northbound.
Northbound 65 approaching government at this time.
And they had already passed my location, continuing northbound. That's when I got on the interstate.
Flat 410 out their location now.
And that's when I activated my camera.
And 4 requested visual info.
I got a visual on them just before we got up to Highway 45. They pulled up to a red light. I came in behind them. I had to continue to run the lights aside or I would never caught up with them. By doing that, I alerted them that I was coming, and that's not something you really want to do. Now we're starting to travel in the streets that a lot of the officers that I work with are not familiar with. Started on pursuing them through that neighborhood. They started swerving in a manner that looked like they were either getting ready to bail out of the car and take off running. I could see some erratic moving inside the car real quick. All of a sudden the car took off. Again, pursuing behind them again. Came up behind me, put the first round through my windshield.
Shot fired.
I returned fire immediately. The only hesitation I had from the time that round came through my windshield to the time I returned fire is just how quick I can get my gun out of holster. Training kicks in. You may still be thinking about what's going on, but then before you realize I need to shoot, your gun's already out of the holster, pointing at them. They were driving again in a swerving manner when the passenger was actually doing the driving, was steering the vehicle while the driver was turning around to engage me again. And as he was preparing to engage me, they made a left-hand turn and I engaged him. Shot twice toward the driver's door. As I made that turn, it looked like he shot about twice toward my driver's door. As I pulled him behind him, we engaged again where they were shooting rounds directly through the back glass. I was turning around directly through my front windshield back at them. With the distance we were looking at and the report that I was getting from the muzzle, I knew that I was dealing with an assault rifle of some sort.
Well, we got more shots fired.
Gave him a little bit more distance when I realized what I was working with. The whole time to give him some distance, the speeds have increased up to 90, 95 miles an hour. Traveled down that bumpy road for a little ways and he swerved into the ditch. I didn't know why he went in the ditch and I felt like it was some kind of a tactical move on their part that they had planned. So I kind of went back on the defensive. I gave him command, throw down a weapon, show me your hand.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands, motherfucker!
I was pacing myself at 1 to 2 round bursts because I knew that I was down to my last magazine. And at this point, I had them pinned down. If they moved, if they popped their head up, if they kicked the door open, I shot at them.
Show me your hands! Show me your goddamn hands!
And shortly after that, the passenger showed signs that he was attempting to surrender, at which time I allowed him to surrender.
Throw your hands up!
The driver, who was injured at this point, he began waving his hands out of the passenger side door, showing signs that he wanted to surrender. When it was all over with, I realized what I'd been through and how close I'd come to being injured. Other people have asked me the question, at what point do you separate your duty to the department and to the citizens of Mobile to the duty you have to your family? Every officer has their own line they got to cross. Everybody has their own bar that they got to set for themselves. I felt like it was still a winnable situation, so I stayed in it.
Both suspects were charged with attempted murder and robbery. For laying his life on the line and taking heavy fire, Officer John Angle was given a Medal of Honor and recognized by the President of the United States. Up next, a Tennessee bank robbery turns into a dangerous daytime shootout.
Get me there, let's up here right now! We got an officer down!
And later, a traffic stop turns deadly on a Georgia highway.